There was an old house on Willow Street that people rarely talked about. Not because it was famous, but because everyone who lived there eventually moved out and never liked explaining why. The house itself wasn't broken or abandoned. It looked normal from the outside. Quiet garden, wooden porch, soft yellow paint that had started fading with time. The kind of house you would pass without a second thought. But inside that house, at the end of a narrow hallway, there was a mirror. It wasn't ordinary. It was large, heavy, and framed in dark carved wood. The glass was too clear, almost unnaturally clear, like still water instead of reflective surface. The family who moved and thought it was just an old antique left behind by previous owners. It added character to the house, so they left it exactly where it was. At first, nothing seemed wrong. Every morning, the mirror reflected life normally. People walking past, lights turning on, doors opening, ordinary movement. No one paid attention to it. But after a few days, small detail began to feel off. It started subtly. When someone walked past a mirror, their reflection didn't always move at the exact same time. Sometimes it lagged behind for just a fraction of a second. Other times, it moved slightly before they did. At first, they blamed lighting, or tired eyes, or imagination, until Emma noticed something worse. Emma was the youngest in the family. She spent more time in the hallway than anyone else. One evening, as she walked past the mirror, she stopped. She felt something strange, like someone was watching her from inside it. She turned slowly and saw a reflection still standing still. But she was already moving. Her reflection smiled first. Emma froze. She blinked rapidly and looked again. Now everything was normal. The reflection copied her perfectly. But the moment had already planted something deep inside her mind. She told her parents that night. "The mirror smiled at me before I smiled," she said quietly. Her parents laughed it off. They said she was tired, maybe watching too many scary videos online. They told her not to worry about old mirrors. But Emma wasn't the only one who noticed. Her older brother Jacob began avoiding the hallway completely. When asked why, he said he didn't like the way the mirror waited. One night, he confessed something he didn't want to say out loud. "I saw it wave at me," he said, "but I wasn't waving." The house went quiet after that. Still, the parents refused to believe anything was wrong. They decided it was just imagination playing tricks on them. So they covered the mirror at night with a thick cloth. And that should have ended it. But it didn't. Because every morning, the cloth was no longer on the wall. It was always found neatly folded on the floor. No one could explain it. No windows were open. No doors were disturbed. It was as if something inside the house was gently removing it every single night. Then came the storm. It hit the town late one evening, cutting the power completely. The house went dark except for candles and flashlights. Wind pressed against the windows. The trees outside scratched against the walls. Emma woke up thirsty that night. She stepped into the hallway with only a candle in her hand, and immediately noticed something wrong. The mirror was uncovered again. She froze. The hallway was silent except for the soft sound of rain against glass. The candle flame flickered violently, casting shadows that moved too much. Emma didn't want to look, but she did. Her reflection was there, standing exactly like her, holding a candle exactly like her, but smiling. Not a normal smile, not a small mistake or coincidence. A full, calm, deliberate smile that didn't belong. Emma's breath caught in her throat. She took a step back. The reflection didn't. It stayed still for a moment longer than it should have. Then it moved. Slowly, it raised its hand and placed it against the glass. Emma looked down at her own hand. It was not touching anything, but the reflection's hand pressed harder. And then, from the other side of the mirror, something pressed back. Emma screamed. The candle dropped. Glass cracked instantly, not breaking outward, but inward, like something was pushing through from the other side. The reflection tilted its head slightly, still smiling. And then everything went dark. When the family woke up the next morning, the hallway was empty. No Emma, no candle, no broken glass. Only silence. They searched the entire house. They called neighbors. They called the police. Nothing made sense. There were no signs of forced entry. No struggle. No sound heard during the night. It was as if she had simply been removed from reality. Days passed. Then weeks. The family was eventually forced to accept the worst. But something still bothered them. The mirror was still there, still uncovered, still perfectly clean. Until one night, the father decided to remove it. He carefully took it off the wall, and what he found behind it made him drop it instantly. There was no wall, no structure, no brick or wood, just another hallway, longer than it should have been, stretching into darkness. And at the very end of that hallway, faintly visible in the distance, was a figure standing perfectly still, watching, waiting, smiling. After that day, the house on Willow Street was abandoned for good, but the mirror was never found again. People say if you walk past that street at night, you can still see a faint glow through the windows, and if you're unlucky enough to look closely into any reflective surface nearby, you might notice something strange. Your reflection doesn't always copy you immediately. Sometimes, it smiles first,